This Shark Stratos is about 1/3 of the price of the Dyson V15 Detect. And let's be honest, you shouldn't need to spend a ton of money to keep your home clean. So can this Shark Stratos do as good a job as this Dyson V15 Detect for less money? Let's find out. We purchased both of these vacuums so we can remain objective. So if you want to support our work, just use the Amazon links down below and we'll earn a small commission. So first up, if convenience is your first priority, stop right there. This has a cord. And it's gonna take you at least 30 more seconds to start your vacuuming cycle. If that's a problem, don't even think about getting a corded vacuum, and it's gonna take you even more time at the end, probably an extra minute. However, despite the cord, or maybe because of it, the Shark is actually a better performer in some categories than you might expect. Let's start with filtration. Now, I'm always going to recommend a vacuum that has a HEPA filter. A HEPA filter is one that filters particles down to 0.3 microns, and that typically means things like dander, allergens, stuff that's floating around in the air that if you have allergies, it can really upset them. And not just any vacuum with a HEPA filter, but one that actually has a sealed canister like this and like this. These both performed excellently in our smoke test because they managed to keep all the smoke inside the canister. And the whole point of vacuuming is to keep this stuff out of your lungs, right? So my pro tip is empty your vacuum outside and not inside your house because you're kind of bypassing that HEPA filter and the sealed canister if you're just dumping it into your garbage can in the kitchen. So let's get into testing. We tested airflow at the wand. The Shark was 33 meters per second, while the Dyson V15 was 42 meters per second. So even though the Dyson is cordless, it scored better. Then we looked at suction, and the Dyson V15 is actually the strongest cordless vacuum we've tested so far. It scored 31 kilopascals, while the Shark was 13 kilopascals. I actually expected that the Shark would be stronger because it's corded, but those are the numbers. Next, let's look at head design. Here's where we have two very different approaches to head design, and that is where a lot of the money goes into with the Dyson. With the Dyson, you actually get 3 separate heads. You've got a laser head, which I'll talk about in a minute, and a motor bar. And then you've also got a pet tool as well. Now the Shark has a main head which has a dual brush roll. It's actually pretty effective. This dual brush roll design has alternating rows of fins and bristles. So the fins are designed to agitate the carpet. They are kind of firm, and the bristles do a secondary pass. Now I think that the Shark overall does a better job on carpet because it's just a more powerful head. Then in the front, you've got the soft roller design, which is designed to pick up finer particles with hair and so forth, and it polishes your hard floors. It's also got an anti-tangle comb for longer hair. On 6-inch rave hair, there's no tangles because it has this anti-tangle comb. Excellent job. And it's actually quite effective on pet hair. The Shark does a great job with pet hair too, no tangles, and it is a little bit easier to use because it glides better over carpet. And then you've got a pet hair tool, which is air-powered. Works okay. Sometimes it tends to slow down. Sometimes it'll get stuck if you just put too much pressure on it. That is one of the downsides. Now back to the Dyson. Here's where your money really goes. And I love this. I thought it was a gimmick at first, but it is not. It's the laser fluffy head. It works great on hard surfaces and it illuminates pet hair and all kinds of dust and dirt you didn't even know you had. It's actually one of my favorite features because I can vacuum even where it's dark and you can always find that little bit of extra hair, and it kind of gamifies vacuuming, but it just makes me feel really satisfied. The Dyson also does really well on the Tangle Test, having no problem with the 6-inch rave hair. This actually had some longer 14-inch rave hair on this side. It got slightly tangled up, but the regular 6-inch hair had no problem at all. It also does a great job with pet hair. On regular pet hair, the motor bar does an excellent job, no tangles. In our pickup tests, we dumped a set amount of sand on the carpet, and then for good measure, we ground it in. So our pickup test is designed to test suction, head design, and overall performance to see how good it is at picking up sand. So the Shark picked up 90% of the sand, while the Dyson actually picked up 100%. Again, the Dyson V15 is pretty much the highest scoring cordless vacuum we've ever tested. Now the Shark picked up 90%. I thought it would be a little bit better, but perhaps it's because the suction just isn't quite as strong as the Dyson. Now, serious testing can get a little bit serious, so now it's time for the Mega Mess Test. Now you'd probably never get things this dirty, but I think the Shark actually did a better job than the Dyson, and they both did a pretty good job at picking up cereal in bigger chunks, but again, this one's gonna go to the Shark because of the head design. So you really shouldn't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get a good vacuum for your house. And indeed, you don't. I think the Shark is a very good value at roughly a third of the price of the Dyson. Now, what you're really getting with the Dyson is a lot of cool features. You get a cool display that shows you how much particles you've picked up. You get about an hour of runtime, which is really solid. And you get this laser head, which I actually really love, and I think it's really useful, but you don't actually need it to pick up the dirt in your house. Now, the Shark is an incredibly good value, and look, I know people have problems with Shark vacuums. I see comments frequently that they aren't that reliable, but be that as it may, we're not here to do long-term testing on these vacuums. In fact, we have no way of really doing that, but the Shark, at the price point that it is, it's very good on hardwood, it's very good on carpets, and if you can handle having a cord around, I think overall it's a pretty solid vacuum, especially for the money. But you know what else is a solid value? It's this video right over here. You should check it out. Thanks for nerding out with us today.